Welcome everyone. This is the Masterclass. My name is Patricknazareth. I have around 30 years of teaching experience and I hope to be able to dispel your doubts should you have any. Today we look at the poem I Remember, written by Thomas Hood. Let's first look at the poet. Thomas Hood was born May the 23rd, 799 in London, died the same month on the 3rd, 1845 in the city of London itself. He was an English poet, a journalist, and a humorist. He was a gifted writer of comic prose. His poems were delightful. They were strongly influenced by Keats. In fact, he would have become a poet of the first rank, on a par with people like Keats and Shelley. But his comic verse was so successful, he was forced to concentrate on it, leaving aside poetry. The poem then, I remember the house where I was born, the little window where the sun came peeping in at morn. He never came a wink too soon, nor brought too long a day. But now I often wish the night had borne my breath away. The poet is remembering a time long ago when he was a child, the place where he was born. He remembers how his room had a window that faced the east. Every day the sun came up, and when it did, he woke up. The days were beautiful, not too long, not too short. And then suddenly the poet changes. He has moved from being a child to an adult. And now the final two lines say that he wishes that when he had gone to sleep in the night, he would have died and not got up to face a new day. I remember the roses red and white, the violets and the lily cups, those flowers made of light, the lilacs where the robin built and where my brothers sat, the laburnum on his birthday, the tree is living yet. The poet continues to remember his happy childhood. He remembers the flowers in their flower beds, how beautiful they looked, how vibrant they were, the colors of the violets, the roses, the lilies. He remembers that in the lilacs, the robin built its nest. He also remembers, among those same lilacs, his brother planted a laburnum tree. Now again we see that he has come back to the present and he informs us that even today the laburnum tree is alive and well. I remember where I was used to swing and thought the air must rush as fresh to swallows on the wing. My spirit flew in feathers then, that is so heavy now, and summer pools could hardly cool the fever on my brow. The poet remembers when he was a child, he had tied a swing to a tree probably, and he was being pushed on the swing. The higher he went, he felt that he was flying. The air that he breathed is the same air that the birds that flew. In this case, he says swallows. He remembers at that time when he was young, his soul was innocent and he could see himself flying. But today, and again he comes back to the present, his soul is so heavy with worries that even the coolness that used to be in the pools in summer, where they used to have a swim, even all the coolness from the pools could not take away the fever. In other words, the worries that he is facing today. I remember the fir trees dark and high. I used to think their slender tops were close against the sky. It was a childish ignorance, but now 'tis little joy to know I'm further off from heaven than when I was a boy. The poet again remembers his childhood and he sees the fir trees around the house where he grew and how from his perspective, he was a small boy, remember, looking upwards, he felt that the tops of the fir trees touched the sky. He thought he could climb up them and reach heaven. Now he knows that no, the fir trees don't touch the sky. They're well below it, and he's back to being an adult. And he feels disconnected from that joy, that sense of being connected to something better, something bigger than him. In other words, that connection to God has been lost. His education, his adulthood, has cut him off from the peace, the innocence that he felt as a boy. What are the themes of the poem then? This poem swings between two extremes: a view of childhood that the poet has as a boy, and his present, where he is an adult. He remembers his childhood with nostalgia. He remembers times that are past where he was happy, where it was a joyous thing for him to be alive. In today's date, that childhood has turned into adulthood. And what has being an adult brought to him? Has it brought him happiness? Apparently not. He seems to be full of worries. He seems to be full of cares. He longs for his carefree childhood, but realizes that he has lost it long ago. That's the poem then for you. I hope I have been of some assistance. If I have, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Remember, there might be others out there who would need our help. Thank you for watching along.